What's up, my people? It's Jay. Welcome back to 2K with the Popboy. That's right, I have returned, and I brought back with me more tested and proven defensive settings. Alright, so we're almost done getting through all these things. Like I said, next year, these will be out a lot sooner. But yeah, this episode 7 is going to be all about the screen help and drive help rules. And also, I got a special bonus for you guys, okay? Now that we're to this point in the settings, and I've tested these so much, I'm ready to tackle the 5-out monster. I mean, I've gotten a lot of comments about it, a lot of requests for it, so I've done a lot of testing with it. So I'll be giving you guys the best settings and the best overall strategy to handle that cheese. But first, we want to get these taken care of, so let's go. Okay, so with these settings, there's really only two options once we get past automatic, and it's pretty simple. You can choose no help, or there's this help and no rotation option. If one is the better one for one, it's going to be the same for the other because it's really the same concept. So whether they do it by screen or drive, doesn't matter. So we're going to want to set both these the same. Now the question is, what are we going to want to do? Well, let's take a look at some of the tape, and it'll be pretty apparent pretty quickly what we're going to want to go with. First, let's take a look at the no help option. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. I don't even know if this really requires much of an explanation. We can't let him just have an easy bucket at the rim. I mean, in a lot of these, a defender is in pretty good position to help, but you're just watching him go to the rim and dunk it or lay it in. I don't know, man. This just doesn't make any sense. Look at him run away there. Look at that. You see that? What the hell, man? Nobody does this. I mean, you guys taking a look at this. Pretty clear, right? I mean, we're gonna want to help. That's clear enough, right? We're not gonna want to go with this no help option. Wait, hold up. There is one exception to this, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the option that we are going to want to go with. Help and no rotation. Obviously, the only other option. So the point of this setting is to send an initial help defender, but not to get all your other defenders way out of position and not to make your defense have to go into scramble mode. So they're not going to rotate behind him, but you at least still have that initial helper. It's just going to force the offense to have to make a play. You're not just handing him an easy 2 points at the rim. And what I found is that if you pair this help and no rotation with moderate off-ball pressure, it's really not that often that they're able to just, draw the help defender, make one easy pass off of that, and then get an open shot. But let's take a look at some of the benefits from doing this help and no rotation setting. Obviously, like I said, you're forcing the offense to have to make a play in order to get an open shot, just bare minimum. But another thing that this does, it's going to make the ball handler just hesitate. Even if it's for a small period of time, sometimes that's just enough to give the primary defender time to recover. And that little amount of hesitation can be the difference between a wide open bucket and a deflection, or you see here a steal. And another good thing about this setting, it takes away the easy slip. And a lot of times like this, the roll man will kind of catch the ball and he'll turn and he'll have the defender in his face and he'll get kind of caught off guard. Quite a few times he'll lose the ball. But even if you don't get a steal or he doesn't lose the ball, you still want to have somebody to just take away that easy bunny slip. And another great thing about this setting, and this kind of goes back to the whole make the offense, make the ball handler have to make a play, it'll make the ball handler have to make a lot of late mid-air passes. As you guys probably know, especially in 2K18, and I have a feeling it's going to be going forward in 2K19, these passes are not easy to make like they have been in the past. The majority of these passes are going to be, at the very minimum, just a little bit off. They're going to be a little tough to handle for the receiver. And by the way, if the receiver isn't that good at catching the ball in the first place, is even worse. You're going to see a lot of these passes bobbled. They're going to take a little extra time to get control of it, which gives the defender extra time to recover. And sometimes you'll see these passes just go straight into the third fucking row. It's easier to steal from the receiver once you do recover because he's there bobbling it, trying to get a hold of it. Easier to get tie-ups off of it. So yeah, even if you think you're leaving somebody wide open by helping, you just don't know. Something like this could happen, and that's why we want to force the offense always to have to make a play. And honestly, you guys will see here, if they do make a play, if they do make a good pass, the defense does a surprisingly good job of recovering. And I'm talking about the primary help defender and the weak side defenders, which will be sagging down a little bit because of the moderate off-ball pressure setting. So really all the defenders on the floor do a pretty good job of recovering when the pass is made out to the open man, or when the primary defender recovers, the help defender will do a good job, and the weak side defenders will do a good job of realizing, okay, my other defenders have recovered, let me get back to my man. They don't really get stuck into help mode and lose track of their man very often at all. And you can tell that because a lot of times when a defender comes to help from far away, a lot of times he'll come help, but he won't come all the way to help. He'll kind of come in the middle and play center field and kind of dive in and dive out, kind of move back and forth a little bit. It will, again, make the ball handler kind of hesitate. You know, it's not totally clear to the ball handler where he should go with the ball as he's kind of playing center field. You can see here, in this case, he gets a deflection. So that's all great, but let me tell you the best thing about this setting, okay? And this is why you're going to want to have your off-ball pressure on moderate, okay? It brings out the best in this help and no rotation setting. It just works perfectly with it. And you can see what's happening. The help defender comes to stop the ball, but look at the three backside defenders, the three weak side defenders. Okay, these two settings together are gonna basically, the best way I can explain it is they're gonna kind of muddy the water. Okay, you can see they're all sagging down and they're all playing that kind of center field role. And specifically, you can see Bialika here. You see him kind of drop down there, so it's not really clear who he's guarding. So this is what I mean by muddying the water. Okay, so from the ball handler's point of view, he's thinking, okay, I got by my man, somebody came to help, but when I look up, I don't really see anybody that's clearly open. Well, that's because we have this moderate off-ball defense working with the help and no rotation setting, okay? It's just muddying the water. The ball handler doesn't have a clear place to get rid of the ball. And quite a bit, he'll be able to get a deflection or even get a steal on this type of pass. And what's great too is that the defenders guarding the players on the perimeter, they just seem to be the perfect distance where they're able to just snatch that pass. Alright, so obviously these are both going to be help and no rotation 95% of the time. Okay, like I said, there is just one exception where you would want to put this on no help for both of these. Okay, and that's when you get hit with the 5-out cheese. And for those of you who might not know, like I said, the 5-out cheese is just when they have 4 great three-point shooters all around the perimeter, and then they're going to use one primary ball handler to penetrate. A lot of times it's like a LeBron, where he's going to bully his way into the paint, or it's like a really elite ball handler, super quick to blow by his man and get into the paint. But however they do it, they basically take advantage of that one-on-one matchup because they have such a great primary ball handler and they think they can usually get into the paint. And they think they're going to force you to help, and if you do send help, they're going to kick it out to an elite three-point shooter, and if you don't send help, they're going to get an easy bucket at the rim. You want to identify who they're using as their primary ball handler, and then you're going to want to put the best possible defensive matchup you have for him on him. So once you select that matchup, put him on moderate on-ball pressure, have him lay off, because if he takes a jump shot from the perimeter over even a light contest, that's a win. Next, like I said, we're going to make sure that we have our off-ball defenders on moderate off-ball pressure as well. And don't worry, if he kicks it out, they're still close enough to be able to recover and get a pretty good contest on a 3. But what this does, why it's so important to defending this 5-out offense, is that it shrinks the floor. Okay, it's going to squeeze those driving lanes. Okay, it's kind of muddying the water again, taking away those obvious wide open driving lanes. Okay, so once we have all of our defenders on moderate, keeping everything in front of them, condensing the floor, clogging the floor, shrinking those driving lanes, that's when we're going to want to come down here and make sure no help for both of these. Okay, because if we have it on help and no rotation against this offense, the help defender is just going to get too far away from his man because he's all the way out there on the perimeter, spacing the floor, and the shot's going to be too open. Now, this does not mean that the on-ball defender is just going to be left totally on an island, okay, because we're going to have our off-ball pressure on moderate, so there's going to be defenders sagging down, okay, so they're still going to be around the ball handler, providing some support, taking away a lot of the room that he has to operate, making it tougher on that ball handler. But with this no help, it'll just prevent that one defender from getting too far away from his man and leaving a wide open 3. Okay, so if we have the best matchup that we can have for the ball handler, and we have these 4 settings set this way, there's really 2 strategies that I've had success with. The first one is to let the AI control the on-ball defender, because honestly, the AI defense is pretty good when they're just trying to bully him into the paint. You can take control of that wing defender and kind of dive in and out at him. Try to make him give up the ball really quickly. Try to get a steal off of him because the ball will be exposed, but in the end, you're controlling that defender, so you're going to be ready to turbo your ass back to the 3-point line, and you're going to make sure that you don't get too far away from your man on the perimeter. So you could just kind of stunt back and forth at him, play some games with him, make him think you're going to come and double, but you're really not, and mix it up so he doesn't know what's coming. Okay, and the other strategy I've had a lot of success with in testing is if they're using a really quick elite ball handler to blow by their man and get into the paint. Now in this case, the best strategy, control that on-ball defender. Make sure you're playing off him, of course. Priority number 1, keep him in front of you. Okay, because the AI defense isn't nearly as good trying to prevent the blow by. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. Depending on how they're getting into the paint, select the appropriate strategy, have these 4 settings set correctly. This is how we're going to want to tackle that 5-out cheese. Okay guys, so there it is. Definitely, of course, try this out, get in the game, give it a shot, comment below, let me know how it's going for you, let me know if you run into anything, of course, let me know if you have any questions, please give me a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed the vid, if you found it helpful. Just helps the channel grow and I can do more for y'all. There's so much more I want to do in the future. And if you're new to the channel, of course, you can subscribe down below. I'm basically always learning new things in 2K. I'm always testing something pretty much all year round. So you can hit your notifications on and you'll get an alert and you'll know anytime I'm testing something, I found out something new, you'll get that alert. You'll know when I have a new upload. So go ahead and do that. You can keep yourself in the loop. But till then, I think I'm out for now. I better go get back to the salt mine. Okay, but I'll see y'all soon. Peace.